Grace and peace be with you. Hi, my name is Mark. I'm the pastor at Sycamore Creek in Potter. I have a brief thought for you today. It's from Proverbs as I continue my devotions. I'm almost to the end of Proverbs. I'm on Proverbs chapter 30, verses 1 through 9. And as I approach the end of Proverbs, we get into a new section here called the Sayings of Agur. And as I looked a little bit at some commentaries on this, there isn't consensus on who exactly this guy is, but there's more wisdom here in Proverbs for us. And this section starts with 4 questions that point to God as God and that we are not. That's always an important distinction for us to make. None of us, no matter how wise or righteous we become, can attain God's wisdom and God's righteousness. And so as we read through this section in verse 8, we come to what is essentially a way we can view this as a prayer for wisdom. And there's 2 things, 2 requests in this prayer. The first thing is to keep falsehood and lies far from me. Again, that's Proverbs 30, verse 8. And then the second thing in Proverbs 30, verse 9 is to give me neither poverty nor riches. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Now, the first thing that we get, this request to keep falsehood and lies from me, is that many of our struggles in life come from figuring out the truth. Can you imagine always knowing the truth of a given situation? Man, I got to tell you, I would love to know that. I would love to know the truth of a given situation. And in Proverbs, wisdom and righteousness are always linked to truth. Capital T, what is the truth of a given situation? Now, the second thing that we see in verses 8 and 9 is this is a prayer for moderation, not too much or not too little. It's a moderation, and it shows great wisdom because what happens is most of us want more than we need, and then we see the problem of that in verse 9. We don't rely enough on God, or we don't have enough, and we will do whatever it takes to get enough. And that's also the problem in verse 9. And what this does is this leads us to 2 sets of questions today. The first set of questions relate to truth and how we seek truth. How do you seek truth? Do you find truth in different places, and do you look for truth in people and in circumstances where there's disagreement with what you already think? And related to that, do you ever change your mind? Do you ever change your mind? If you are not changing your mind, you are not encountering truth. No one's right all the time. And secondly, a second set of questions is related to moderation and how much do you really want? Do you pray for what you really need, or do you pray for more than you need? Great sets of questions. Both of them lead us to God's wisdom and God's righteousness. May God's grace and peace be with you.